that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Here's your host, Sabrina Turner.
Good morning, Cayman, and welcome to another Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. I'm your host, Sabrina Turner, and in this segment, we put the spotlight on what it's like to be a chef and being involved in the culinary industry. I'm pleased to have in studio with me this morning guest Chef Jessica of Taste This Life, and she's joined by Chef Tamisha of Tia's Table. Ladies, welcome to her show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Before we get into what it's like to be a chef, how you all got started, tell us a little bit about yourselves, please.
My name is Tamisha Edwards. I am the owner of Tia's Table.
How did you get started? What cuisine are you in?
I pretty much dabble in a lot of different cuisines, but my main thing is just in the culinary arts, in the food, savory area.
Okay.
Hi, morning. My name is Jessica Moore. I'm the owner of Taste This Life. We're a small catering and private chef company. We hit on a range of different things that we do under our company, including classes, events, farm-to-table dinners, pretty much anything you can think of under culinary.
Okay, congratulations. Now, when did you both decide to take this step and go into the culinary arts? What prompted you to go there?
It's a tricky question for me because I don't think I had a aha moment that I wanted to be a chef like some people do. I always loved food, and my passion for food grew in my grandmother's kitchen, watching her cook and serve people at her table, and just the laughter and the fun. And I kind of fell into being a chef by accident, pretty much failing at every job and hating every job that I was in because someone said, hey, this is what you should do.
Right.
And I just went against the grain, and pretty much it came right back around. I said, I'm going to do what I want to do. And I went off to school, and I think it kind of just, it hit me when I was at school through my teachers who pretty much like pulled it out of me.
Now, when you're in school and you're actually being taught a specific type of cuisine and you're accustomed to Caribbean cuisine, how easy or difficult is it to transition from what you know yourself as being surrounded, and now you're in an educational environment and you have to have a wider range of culinary skills and dishes?
I think it's all about keeping an open mind, but because we are a huge melting pot, it helped a lot compared to some of the other students. We're used to eating and seeing and smelling and hearing about so many different foods besides Caribbean food.
Right.
So it wasn't hard. It was pretty easy, actually.
Okay, good. Just joining us is pastry chef Brittany of Scratch Gourmet Desserts. Welcome to our show, Brittany.
Hi, good morning. Sorry I'm late.
I hope you were making some cassava cake and you left some with Susan. It's a pleasure to have you on our show.
Thank you.
Let's hear a little bit about you, Brittany. How did you get started?
Well, it all started about, I would say, almost 10 years ago. Yeah, I was studying to be an engineer at the time, and I was like, no, this isn't for me at all. And
From engineering to culinary?
Yes.
Wow.
So it was always something that I liked to do, baking in my free time, and I had a summer job with kids, and in that summer job, we started to bake, and I was like, you know what, I can definitely see myself doing this for the rest of my life. So,
how have you evolved over the years of now getting it out there? You're ending up on this show. How does it feel?
It's kind of it's really humbling, and it's surreal in a sense because whenever my business has definitely grown since I've started it, and at the rate at which it's grown, I did not expect that to happen. And I didn't expect us three to form Women in White and, be at at this stage that we're at right now, where we all have a common goal, you know.
Well, I'm glad you segued straight into there. Tell us about the Women in White, the event that took place last month. Tell us some more about that. All of you can weigh in your own, because I'm quite sure you all have your own views.
It was amazing. I think we're still pretty much trying to put into words how amazing, how phenomenal this event was, coming from the chefs and looking at it from the back end to the front. It was greatly received from the community, from the ticket sales, the support from people, the support from companies. It was phenomenal. And I think we're still trying to sum it up and put it into words.
Definitely.
Now, what is the hope? What is the hope event of the nature you bring to people together and empower them through the medium of food? Let's hear a little bit from Jessica.
I think we can pretty much all relate just around the basis of food, because that's such a big thing in our community.
It's everything.
Our Sunday dinners, our Cayman style beef run down on Sundays, everybody getting together. Everything mostly that we do and everything that we celebrate is centered around food. That's how we usually bring everybody together. And I think just by doing this event in that same sort of style, trying to bring people together for a really good cause around the basis of food, I mean, I don't think there's any other way we would really rather do it. Mm-hmm. And I think really our hope for this event is to really grow it over the years. This was our inaugural event this year, the Women in White, where we had six different courses over the three of us for our 3 different tasting stations. We had our open bar, we had a live band, the decor and the outside setting was really amazing. We really got really great feedback from everybody that attended the event, and we really can't wait for what we're going to pull out for next year.
Okay. Congratulations to you on that as well. Now, each of you have your own respective companies. Share with us some information and, to our listeners and viewers regarding Taste This Life. I'll start with Taste This Life.
Okay.
Why not?
Taste This Life pretty much started about 2 years ago. Pretty much the same thing that Tamisha was saying. I did property management for about 5 years, and after being late almost every single day, I figured, I can't be doing this. This is not something that makes me happy. I'm not excited in the morning to get up and do this. So I kind of just took a leap of faith, and I decided to start my blog shortly before I left. And I did mentoring, or actually shadowing of a chef in a restaurant during the night for about a year. So I kind of started to put my feet in, get my feet wet before I actually took the full jump. And after that, I guess I just started to gain confidence in myself and my skills and where I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of took off from there.
Let's hear about Scratch Gourmet Desserts Limited.
Scratch Gourmet. Well, I started it a little bit similar to what Jessica was doing. It was a summer when I was home from school. A friend asked me to bake a cake for his birthday, and I was like, you know what? Let me start a little blog. So I started to upload recipes and all sorts of stuff, and then it just led from one thing to another. While I was in culinary school, I did it in my spare time, came back. While I was working at a restaurant here as a pastry chef, it was just something that I did when I wasn't at work, and it just turned into something full-time.
I guess there's a feeling each of you've gotten so that you know when you're on your correct path. Yeah. It's one thing how your parents or peers see you, but there's another thing when you know you're on your journey. Mm-hmm. How do you overcome, people may see you getting up for work late, you explain that because you just didn't love what you did, mm-hmm. and says you're lazy, you'll probably become a nothing. Mm-hmm. And here you are today. How did you overcome those negative things, but yet you couldn't speak it? You couldn't explain why?
Yeah. I mean, I think it takes getting to a certain point in your life where nothing makes sense, and you have to kind of figure that out. You have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort to see, where do I go that makes me truly happy? And I kind of saw that every time, I would go and cook for my family, or somebody would ask me to make something for them, and I'd just be like, I could do this. I would just go to the store Like I would maybe watch something on TV and say, okay, I want to try that. I'll go to the store, I'll do all the shopping, I'll come back and I'll try to replicate it exactly as they did it. And that, in and of itself, I mean, just taking pictures of it, styling it, I was at my happiest point doing that.
Mm-hmm. Tia?
Yeah. I think I have to definitely agree with Jess. It's when you hit that point, like I don't want to be up in the morning. And you get to that point where, you know what, I really don't care what someone says I should do. What do I want to do? What's going to make me happy? What's going to let me stay up till 2, 3 in the morning? And like I said, I pretty much fell into my career because of failing. Like Jess, you start by watching shows, or I would go to a restaurant and I would eat a dish and I would sit and my mom would always just say, stop it. Because I would completely zone out and I'm literally picking each ingredient
Really?
out of the dish in my head. And then I would go home and try to make this dish to taste how I thought the dish should taste, or if I liked it, how the dish should taste.
Put your own spin on it pretty much in your head while eating.
Pretty much. You just come to a place that, you know what, I'm going to do it. It was never a career when we were in high school that was pushed to become a chef. I think it's still not in the high schools. And I pretty much, and I think we all can say that we just went against the grain and said, you know what, we're going to do it.
It's funny that you said that, because I can recall you saying that about in high school, going home and coming home with what left of rock buns.
Yes.
And the sugar cookies and the macaroni and cheese that was laced with mustard back in the days. And but we thought that was just a part of the curriculum. How did you take it from home ec class to a career? That's where I think we missed out, because it was never pushed.
Correct. It was never pushed. I had a home economics teacher that would always give me that extra side look, like, okay, why is she adding that? How does she know about that? And at the time, it didn't really dawn on me. I was just adding it because let's see, let's test. And I just found that that class was my most exciting, and I was happy in that class. I was completely free in that class, even though we had a curriculum.
Right.
And that's just where my happy place is.
Yeah, I would completely agree with her. I mean, in terms of I guess this career kind of choosing us, it really does take something that just kind of clicks in your head. And it's like, for us, for people in culinary, it's just like, you can't explain it, but you can see certain things, and you just know that this will go with this, or that's the same. A mechanic will be like, okay, this goes here, that goes there. It's kind of just something that you can't explain.
That's the artistic side, and if you don't have it, you're not going to understand the lingo.
Yeah.
That's why it's so easy, I'm quite sure, for all of you to put on Women in White. You speak the same lingo.
Yeah.
We enjoy the product.
Definitely.
Now, Jessica, I believe there are some classes being offered through Taste This Life. Tell us more about the availability of these classes, time and booking information, please.
Our classes was something that we just added to our website, so we do pretty much anything that you want to learn about. I did, like I said, when I did the shadowing of my mentor in the restaurant, I did a lot of sushi training. So we offer sushi making classes. I'll do a Cayman class, which is basically anything local. I'll teach you a local dish. We'll do everything in the comfort of your own home. I'll bring all the utensils, all the ingredients, and you just sit back and learn. Or if you want to be interactive, you can get in the kitchen and help me as well. So it really does depend on what class you want to take. Like I said, we do easy cocktails as well. We do small bites. We also do very simple desserts. So it just depends. You can take a look on our website and let us know what you would like. And we're pretty much we're available. Just let us know when you'd like to do it.
Good. Chef Tamisha, what are some of your favorite flavor combinations? I guess there are lots.
There is, but I would definitely have to say that my favorite combination would have to be sweet and salty.
Really?
Definitely sweet and salty, and I'm looking at...
To get a good balance, that's quite difficult.
It is.
Is that like in sauces, or how would you do that to get the right balance?
I wouldn't say it would be in sauces, but throughout the whole entire dish. So something sweet, something salty, and even something spicy. Like those three are definitely my favorite, to combine all of them so that each component in the dish links together.
Now, when it comes to cooking, how important is creativity?
Oh, creativity is very important. It's one of the top things to have. Creativity is not something I would think that it's something developed over time. As you continue to practice your art, it will grow. But creativity just isn't. Creativity starts for me at the start of a dish, right down to the end when I put it in front of a customer. So it's me going to the store and thinking, how am I going to be creative to blend ingredients together to get the flavor that I want? And then how am I going to be creative to put it on the plate so that my customer will eat with, because people eat with their eyes before they eat with their palate. So how am I going to let my customers eat this dish before they do?
Right. You're in tune to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz as we put the spotlight on what it's like to be a chef in the culinary industry. We'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk more to Chef Jessica and hear all about their own personal styles. What dish do they love the most or the least to create, if that's even in their vocabulary? Keep it locked to the Business Buzz for more when we come back.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Grand Cayman's road system, a seemingly constant work in progress, saw significant development during the tenure of Commissioner George Stephenson Hurst in the early 1900s. Elgin Avenue, named after the British colonial secretary, saw the arrival of a police station, public works depot, and the new government house. Along with Elgin Avenue, Hurst laid out Mary Street, and a drivable road from Georgetown was constructed the length of the 7 miles to West Bay, with a separate extension to Batabanu. Shedden Road was named after the previous commissioner, Friedrich Shedden Saningwetti, and was resurfaced, widened, and extended through the swampy interior to Boddentown. This new extension was called Crewe Road, after Elgin's British colonial secretary successor, the Earl of Crewe. The road to Boddentown also included an offshoot extension from Savannah to Newlands. The Cayman Islands' first ever recorded sporting event, a bicycle race, would take place on Boxing Day 1909 on the new highway from Georgetown to Boddentown.
Radio Cayman's Historical Facts Vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
Why rush around paying bills when you can pay most of your bills online? Cayman National offers an extensive list of service providers. Visit CaymanNational.com and log on to our personal or business online banking systems. Not an online banking customer? Contact their customer support team on 949-8300 for more information.
Think life insurance is only about leaving money for your family? Well, think again. Ask Teddy about products that will provide income in case of accidents or illness, here and now. Call Teddy on 917-4860. That's 917-4860.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz as we keep the spotlight on what it's like to be a chef and being involved in the culinary industry. My guest in studio is Chef Jessica, pastry chef Brittany, and Chef Tamisha, telling us more of what their life is all about in the culinary arts. Now, poor me, I would eat everything that I cook. You know, they always have a saying that shoemaker wears the worst shoe. Is that the case when it comes to making sure that you're properly fed?
Sometimes, because we're kind of like nitpicking at, tasting this and tasting that. And when the dish comes to completion, we're just not hungry.
And you're just full.
Yeah. It happens.
Do you enjoy your own cooking? That's something that I know people toil with. They would prefer to eat somebody else's dishes, but you know, because it's prepared by somebody else, it's like you enjoy it more. What is it like for all three of you?
I can speak for myself. I love my food.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
And I love their food.
Okay, see? It's not that yours is bad. It's just that it's a weird thing. You enjoy someone else's cooking better than your own.
Absolutely.
Now, let's go talk about farm to table. Let's throw it at Chef Jessica. What is the greatest benefit of farm to table concept in buying from our local farmers, fishermen, and cattle ranchers?
I really believe it's just the relationships that you build within your community. I mean, the greatest aspect I think about it is you're supporting your own. You're putting money back into your own economy versus it, going overseas. You're really helping to support people that, have our best interests in mind. They're doing everything locally, as free from antibiotics and pesticides and all that other stuff that other people have to put in to make it able to be able to transport over to us in such a short amount of time, versus we can just go down the road and, I want some beef for Sunday. I need some vegetables for this dinner party on Saturday. It's
all fresh.
It's so easily accessible, and it's growing in its popularity, which makes me so happy to see, the farmers market on Saturday right there by the cricket field. There are more and more people popping up there every day with more varieties of so many different, root vegetables and, eggs, and a more popularity I've seen is, the local chickens that are starting to come up. So that really makes me happy, and I try to incorporate that as much as possible when I do my farm to table dinner.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about the benefits of including seasonal items, and I'll throw this out to all three of you. How can seasonal items add an important dynamic element to any existing menu offering?
Like Chef Jessica said, it's one, you're supporting local. Two, when you use a seasonal item, the flavors are just mind-blowing compared to when this item is out of season and you're buying it at a supermarket. And like Jess said, they've added this and they've added that so that it can be transported. You're giving the client an item in its rawest form, and they're seeing what an item should really taste like, not 6 months out of season.
Correct.
You're getting an avocado or a breadfruit or something that's not in season. For me, dining is an experience, and it should always be an experience, not just a meal. So to bring that experience to the client using seasonal items pretty much keeps your menu fresh, keeps it exciting for the client. They always know that something is coming that's seasonal, something that's grown here, something that's local. And people like to see that you support, like Chef Jessica says, you support your community and you give back to your community.
Well, let's put the spotlight on gourmet desserts with pastry chef Brittany. Can anyone become a pastry chef, or do they have to have some sort of artistic ability?
Anybody can become a pastry chef, anybody. But artistic ability does help. It definitely does. I'm very artistic. That's something that has always kind of guided me in the sense of knowing where to put this or what looks good in terms of photography, because social media is all, it's all the rage now. So you definitely want to showcase whatever it is that you make, whether it be pastries or savory. But in that sense, anyone can. They just have to have the ability to stand on their feet for a very long time. And B, they just need to be very passionate about it.
Now, do you offer any vegan or gluten-free, my favorite, donuts and cakes? It would have to be my favorite.
We actually do. Our donuts are definitely something that they sell really well. We launched them last year, January. We do offer vegan donuts. We're working on a gluten-free donut recipe. The vegan and the gluten-free donuts are not up on our site yet, but if someone does ask, then we definitely do. We let them know. Our cakes, yes, for both.
Now, what factors contribute to the pricing of desserts and pastries?
Well, our pricing pretty much stays the same. It has stayed the same for about the last 2-3 years. The reason I say that is because I've priced things out at a rate at which they can stay the same, because I've kind of seen where, my average spending is, average food cost. But things that do definitely affect the cost is my butter. Okay. Butter is something that's very expensive. And also we use local eggs. Chef Tamisha's lovely farm.
Really?
Yes. And yes.
Is that a secret you've been hiding from everybody? Oh, sorry for letting it out of the bag.
So we definitely use her eggs, and we use eggs from the backyard farmer as well. So those things do kind of affect the price, but really our pricing does not really change very much.
Coming after you for that farm. I'm going to hear some more about that. Now, what would you say are the more important or popular items persons are requesting when it comes to gourmet desserts?
People are definitely requesting our donuts. Our donuts are a big hit. So that's something that we have definitely added to our repertoire. We've kind of every few months or so, we'll change the flavors, and we'll kind of try and include as many local things as we can. So, for instance, if I have a coconut, which I do have a coconut donut on there right now, I'll go out and get the coconuts from my backyard and husk them and cut them myself, So it's down to that. Yes. That's
okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Make you enjoy it even much more. Now, just general, what types of events do you all mostly cater for?
I do a lot of in-home dinners. Like, we get a lot of visitors, that come down for a week or two for the holidays, and we'll do a lot of catering either in their condos or their villas. We'll do a lot of private chef work, and in terms of that for me personally.
Mm-hmm. What do you all think is going to be the next big thing in the food world?
I think, for me, non-alcoholic beverage pairing with food. I was in Europe this year, and the menu for the non-alcohol beverages was almost just as long, or in some restaurants even longer than the alcoholic drinks.
Really?
A lot of people are moving away because of the health aspect, and moving away from the alcohol beverage and looking for that non-alcoholic option,
but still
and
being
the
able to fit
are
in.
Absolutely beautiful, like they are alcoholic. So I think that's going to be a next big thing. Yes.
What tips would either of you extend to those who may be thinking about getting involved in the culinary industry?
I think that if you want to become a chef, you need to be sure to stay on top of what's in trend, what's going on in the food industry, and definitely soak everything up. Watch as much as you can. Although I must say, though, take cooking shows with a grain of salt, because a lot of the time they're very, very it's just not very realistic. It's not like that at all most times. As a chef, sometimes no one knows what you're doing while everyone's sleeping. You're up, you're going through the gauntlet, but it's definitely take everything with a grain of salt. Definitely try to intern, whether it's paid or not. That knowledge will definitely it'll help you in the long run.
Are there any Women in White events planned for the remainder of the year?
We are brainstorming on some things that we might put out. We're definitely looking into some volunteering with the youth for the year as well. So we're working on a few different things. We'll make sure to let everyone know.
And what is the best way for persons to make contact or get further details about either of you, retaining you all?
I think just visiting our websites. For mine is www.taste-thislife.com. All my details are on there.
Yes, and mine for Tia's Table is www.tias-table.com.
Okay, and Brittany?
And for myself, it's definitely by email or by calling. I'll actually give you my number on air. It's 923-0081, and my website is www.scratchgourmetdesserts.com.
And you brought some of those donuts you said they're in there with Susan?
Yes.
No wonder she's wiping her mouth. Well, we've been speaking with Chef Jessica of Taste This Life, Chef Tamisha of Tia's Table, and pastry chef Brittany of Scratch Gourmet Desserts. It has been a pleasure speaking with each of you, and we wish you all success in your endeavors. Keep up the great work.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being our guest. Stay tuned for more Radio Cayman's Business Buzz after the 8 o'clock news, sports and weather update, when we'll be putting the spotlight on Trust Plant Structures Limited, and we'll also be speaking with the Royal Cayman Islands Police. Over to you, Susan.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
Price Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Price Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Price Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore.
Studio time by Price Right is 8 a.m.
Access information. Your community. News and information. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. A man is hurt during a dispute between a security guard and another man. Police say it happened around 2 a.m. on Saturday. They were responding to a call at Everglow Bar in Bodentown. Police say it appears a man got into an argument with the security officer who'd confronted him about having a knife. The officer reportedly removed him from the bar and tried to take the knife away. The men got into a scuffle outside the bar, and a third man, a patron, got caught in the affray and was cut in the leg. He was taken to the Cayman Islands Hospital, and he's believed to have serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect, a 30-year-old man of Northside, was arrested in relation to this incident and was later bailed as investigations continue. Managing and maintaining your health and well-being are being explored at this year's healthcare conference. Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego gives us the scoop into what you can expect at the 3-day event.
The 9th staging of the Cayman Islands Healthcare Conference will once again be hosted at the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman on October 18th through to the 20th, and will focus on ways that the general public can help manage and maintain their own health and well-being. This year's theme is Managing Your Health, the Empowered Patient, and Health Minister the Honourable Dwayne Seymour notes in a statement that this year's theme is timely as there is a greater push globally for patients to become more involved in looking after their health. According to officials, the conference will focus on day-to-day management of non-communicable diseases, developments in technology and its impact in healthcare in Cayman, as well as understanding when health symptoms indicate a trip to the emergency room. The event will be free and it's for everyone: government, families, communities, employers, and healthcare workers. Check out www.healthcareconference.ky for all this and more. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
And in other news,
somehow I made it alive. I will live.
Local filmmaker Pascal Pernix premieres his latest film, We Will Live, over the weekend at Caymana Bay's Regal Theatre, and has been officially selected for the Montreal International Black Film Festival, as well as the prestigious Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival 2018. We Will Live tells the story of Elia, who, after the small plane she took with her lover hoping to start a better life elsewhere crashed during a violent storm, must survive in the unknown jungle she's stranded in. The private screening held on Saturday night saw a crowd of more than 200 people and featured a question and answer section with the cast and the director. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, who will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. Several hundred people are missing after a dam collapsed, flooding 6 villages in southern Laos on Monday. A number of people have already been confirmed dead and more than 6,000 are homeless. More than 60 people have been killed in Greece as wildfires continue to ravage coastal towns near Athens. The deaths include the discovery of 26 bodies at a villa at the seaside resort of Mati. South Korea is considering withdrawing some troops and equipment from its heavily fortified border with North Korea. The trial plan is aimed at reducing tension along what's known as the demilitarized zone. There have been multiple explosions in the Afghan capital, Kabul. Officials say 2 were caused by rockets fired into a residential area of Kabul, injuring at least 3 people. The UN Human Rights Office says it's concerned at the increasing number of reports of voter intimidation ahead of Monday's elections in Zimbabwe. A statement said the incidents were mainly in rural areas and included reports of people being forced to attend political rallies. Germany's spy agency says Iran has expanded its cyber attack capabilities and poses a danger to German companies and research institutions. The BFV agency said there had been a steady increase in the number of cyber attacks believed to have been launched from Iran in the last 4 years. A state government in Australia has issued a public health alert after 3 children fell ill from using an imported eyeliner. The New South Wales state government found that the products made in Pakistan by Hashmi contained 84% lead, as well as other dangerous metals. And members of the Thai football team trapped in a cave system for 2 weeks before being rescued are beginning the process of becoming Buddhist novice monks. The players will meditate, pray and clean the temple for 9 days, a Thai lucky number. BBC News.
Access. Information. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after.
BritK protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after.
Visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
BritK, where people come first.
Under the distinguished patronage of the Jamaican Consulate, Michelle T. and Friends, in association with JN Money Transfer, present the Jamaica 56th Independence Celebration Gospel Festival, Sunday, August 5th at the Lion Center. Come worship with Marvia Providence, George Banton, Adrian Cunningham, Sean Warren, Women of Purpose, and Michelle T. with her new release. Also featuring Roderick Brown, Laverne Welcome, Earl Bryan, and JJZ Dance Ministry. MC, the Gospel Vibes Master, Delingo. $25 pre-sold at Funky Tanks, J&M Electronics, Fixit, Celtronics, and JN Money Transfer. $30 at the gates. Showtime 6 p.m. Gates open at 5. Jamaica 56th Independence Celebration Gospel Festival, Sunday, August 5th at the Lion Center.
In financial news, world markets rallied today, gaining momentum from an upbeat day in Asia and from U.S. corporate earnings. But downbeat purchasing managers' index readings hinted at underlying worries. Keeping score, Germany's DAX rebounded 1.3% to 12,713, and the CAC 40 in France was 0.9% higher at 5,425. The FTSE 100 index of leading British shares gained 0.2% to 7,671. U.S. stocks are poised for a higher opening. Dow futures added 0.3% to 25,110. The S&P 500 futures rose 0.2% to 2,817. Looking at Asia's day, better than expected U.S. corporate earnings and a lack of bad news on trade tensions pushed Asian markets higher today. Japan's Nikkei 225 gained 0.5% to 22,510. South Korea's Kospi added 0.5% to 2,280. And Hong Kong's Hang Seng jumped 1.4% to 28,662. In currencies, the dollar eased to 111.22 yen from 111.34. The euro slipped to $1.1687 from $1.1691. And in energy, benchmark U.S. crude added 28 cents to 68.17 per barrel in electronic trading on the New York Mercantile Exchange. On Monday, the contract dropped 37 cents to settle at 67.89 per barrel. Brent crude used to price international oils gained 9 cents to 73.15.
Important notice for all contractors, including general, civil, residential, building, and trade contractors. The Department of Planning would like to inform you that in order to pull permits and request inspections, your company must be registered with the Builders Board by July 31st, 2018. Failure to register with the Builders Board will prevent you from seeking permits and inspections. Fees and applications can be found online at www.planning.ky. All applications and fees for all contractors must be submitted by July 31st, 2018.
Your weather update after 8 is brought to you by Brand Source Home Gallery, creating elegant bathrooms with European-style fixtures and fittings.
When it comes to designing a kitchen or a bath, functionality and style should be at the center of your design. Declutter, improve lighting, change cabinets, increase storage, and show your style with the help from experts at Brand Source Home Gallery. Save 20% on the finest cabinets and fixtures this July for Kitchen and Bath Month at Brand Source. The design team can help create the perfect personal spa retreat and help design your functional kitchen, whether designing from scratch or renovating your home. Stop by Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, to save 20% on kitchen and bath cabinets and fixtures.
Good morning once again. Time now for the latest weather report. Current temperature is 84 degrees. Relative humidity is 88%. Barometric pressure 29.98 inches and rising. The wind is out of the southeast at 3 knots. Overnight low temperature was 79 degrees. Synopsis indicate light southeasterly winds and smooth to slight seas expected over the Cayman area for the next 24 hours as the pressure gradient remains weak across the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving west. The forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of afternoon showers, and temperatures will rise to the low 90s. It's going to be a hot day. Winds will be southeast at 5 knots or less, and seas will be smooth to slight with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Tonight we can expect mainly fair skies with a 20% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the upper 70s. Your winds will be light and variable at 5 knots or less, and seas will be smooth to slight with wave heights of less than 2 feet. We're presently at a high tide, and the next low tide will be this afternoon at 4 minutes past 2, and a high tide again tonight at 8:48. The sun will set this evening at 3 minutes after 7 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Thursday morning.
Your weather update after 8 is brought to you by Brand Source Home Gallery, creating elegant bathrooms with European-style fixtures and fittings.
Good morning once again, and we take a look now what's happening on the road. Steady traffic on the Linford-Pearson Highway. And traffic is also steady on Cool Road, and some sections a little busier than other sections. On the Westway Road in front of the Ritz, traffic moving along moderately in both directions. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. And clear roads on Shedden Road. Light traffic on Edward Street in front of the Georgetown Post Office. And Shamrock Road, traffic flowing moderately. And traffic coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, moderate flow of traffic as well on Huldah Avenue and on Thomas Russell Avenue. From the Westway 4-way stop, light to moderate traffic flow. And on the Esley Tibbetts Highway, steady but flowing traffic. North Sound Road, steady traffic. And that's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 as we update you on what's happening on your roads. Look out for the car in front of you and the car in the back of you, and drive safe, Cayman Islands.
The time is now. The speed is here. March to the beat of the mobile revolution with Flow 4G LTE and a prepaid mobile combo plan. Activate a Flow prepaid mobile combo plan to get calling minutes and data in one convenient package, and every plan comes with double data. Enjoy the proven best overall experience in Cayman with a Flow prepaid mobile combo plan. Now with double data, coverage, value, speed. Flow 4G LTE. Always connected, always faster. Visit discoverflow.ky. Terms and conditions apply.
In local sports, OGA is once again the title sponsor of the Cayman Islands Stroke and Stride, a 3-race series in August with funds raised going to support young triathletes in Cayman and the Cayman Islands Cancer Society. OGA Stroke and Stride is one of the most popular sporting events in Cayman. It consists of a series of 3 races involving a swim and a run, with the swimming distance increasing each week from 400 meters to 600 meters and finally 800. Each swim is followed by a 2-mile run. The races will be held on August 1st, 8th, and 15th, and each will start at 5:45 p.m. at Sunset House. The event is designed to be accessible to runners and swimmers of all levels, and no special equipment is required. Entry fees for individuals are $15 per race and $35 for all 3. Entry fee for teams are $25 per race or $60 for the series. Participants must be members of the Cayman Islands Triathlon Association, which costs $15 annually and is available at registration. The minimum age on race day is 13 years, and under 18s must be accompanied by a parent or legal guardian. There will be no person in registration on race day, so all participants must register in advance. To enter the Stroke and Stride, visit caymanactive.com/registrations/Stroke and Stride. And in international sports, the Nigeria Football Federation says officers from the state intelligence agencies have stormed its headquarters, removed a group who claimed to be in control, and restored the FIFA-backed head of the Nigerian soccer to office. The NFF says operatives from the Department of State Services were working on the orders of the Nigerian president when they removed Chris Gaiwa, a football club owner who has repeatedly attempted to oust NFF President Amaju Pinnick, citing a court order that invalidates Pinnick's election.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz right here on Radio Cayman. I am your host, Sabrina Turner, and in this segment, we put the spotlight on Truss Plant Structures as we learn more about the company. Joining me in studio, I'm pleased to have Miss Brenda Lee Scott Novak and Mr. Des Ebanks. Good morning and welcome to your show.
Good morning, Sabrina.
It's a pleasure. Now let's talk a little bit about your business philosophy and why the business was formed. This is the first time I'm hearing about TPS.
Well, we were formed from our sister company, Caribbean Services and Development, which is a total manufacturing entity. It's just deals with the lumber side, and we realized that there was a great potential to make substructures out of steel for the construction industry.
Right. Now, recently you added new dimensions offering these steel products for commercial and retail. What drove you to that? Looking at hurricanes? I mean, why?
Well, we realized the potential, and it didn't take long to convince my wife of the potential for it. So there are certain things that really benefit us. We can mass produce. We can build entire buildings out of steel. We can produce the internal components for the interior, for ceilings and furring. And by being able to do this, we are producing an engineered building that really meets all the required codes.
Wow.
So when you start a business opportunity, you typically look to see how you can do things a little bit better. And so as we looked around, we saw how we could significantly improve how we build within the industry. And so we're absolutely excited because we've partnered with a global company that has successfully integrated a design and build and engineering software into a robust manufacturing system that will allow you to build complete structures, which is the first of its kind globally.
Wow. How exciting are you about bringing this service to the Caribbean region and to the Cayman Islands?
Well, for me, it's very excited being a homegrown Caribbean woman. I typically refer to the technology as groundbreaking in the sense that it's a complete disruptor within the industry. If you think back at Tesla and how they've completely revolutionized how you build cars, or you look at Uber and you see how they completely revolutionize how you travel, or even Airbnb in the lodging and accommodation industry, that is exactly what this technology is doing within the construction industry. So it's a very exciting time for us.
So what's going to happen to the regular bricks and mortar way of building buildings, like the cement block or the foam concrete blocks? Where does that put you guys in it, or removes them?
Well, that's going to continue, the concrete work, but it's going to be a transition when people realise how fast and cost-effective it is to build in steel, and yet build an engineered building that you will have confidence in when natural disasters occur. That's when it will slowly phase out, I feel sure, to some extent anyway.
I think it's amazing to see culturally how it differs. And so when we were doing the research, different cultures adopt the technology for different reasons. And so, Europe is typically ahead of us in terms of technology. And when you look and see how Europe has adopted the technology, it's more for them from an efficiency standpoint and from an environmentally friendly standpoint. When you look at Asia, with the rising middle class there, it's more about the demand for infrastructure. When you look at places like the Middle East, again, demand is a catalyst that's driving the need for it. And I think for the Caribbean region, it would probably be a combination of factors that would drive it. Obviously, we're getting to be a little bit more environmentally friendly. Right. You can look around and see it in our culture every day. And so I think it will be a combination of different factors that would drive it. Steel will not be for everyone, but I think once you see the benefits of having a steel building, it will be something to be reckoned with.
And Sabrina, and one of the other factors is that it's already the go-to material for non-combustible roofing.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's true. And when you look at long-term effects, how would that equate with our high salt content in the Caribbean region? People may wonder about that and corrosion.
Well, every day I put a shed that we made outside on the road, and it's completely open to the weather. And every day I bring it back, and there is not one bit of rust on that. It's galvanized. The steel we use is a higher quality steel. It's 50 KSI, stronger, higher yield strength, but it's also coated higher than we normally see in the Cayman Islands. We normally see G90. This is G115. But once a building can dry out, it's never going to rust. It has to give up all its galvanic, the coating, the zinc, before it can even start to rust. So once it's built correctly and it can dry, there are no issues.
I think what's also important is that steel is not a new phenomena. There are steel buildings in Cayman, for example. And then when you look at the convention now, most of the interiors for homes are actually steel. And so you kind of wonder why it's taken this long. But I think it's a matter of innovation, technology, and awareness, which is a part of the drive that we're trying to have.
Excellent. Which leads me into this question, the difference between steel truss and wooden trusses.
Well, the steel truss is going to be a lot lighter. The strength-to-weight ratio is incredible for steel. It's a hollow section, whereas lumber is very heavy and inflexible. What else do we have?
The difference between the steel and the wooden truss.
Yeah, it's basically about the weight and how it's assembled together. The steel is connected by screws, whereas the lumber is connected by metal plates with tangs that project and are pressed into the steel. So the method of manufacture is somewhat different.
And because it's lighter as well, it's a faster fabrication time, right?
So buildings should be completed clickety-split.
That's one of the great advantages of using cold-form steel.
Now, from a building code standpoint, what is required to meet all floor or roof truss requirements?
Well, the code is the same whether it's steel or lumber. We have to meet the building code. We use FBC 2014 at the moment. It's a residential code, and we the loads for the floors, whether it's steel or lumber, are similar, 65 pound per square foot for a floor, around about 50 for a roof. So the loads are heavier on the floor, but the codes are the same, and they'll meet the wind loads the same way. It's custom designed to ensure it meets code. and exceeds code in a lot of circumstances.
Now, do these steel structures meet hurricane standards, and what about earthquake resistant?
See, that's the beauty of innovation, right? For an idea to be revolutionary or to change how you currently behave, it has to significantly improve on your current processes. And so absolutely, this new technology that we're privileged to be a part of will allow you to build to hurricane standards. So the buildings will be able to withstand 186 mile per hour wind. So we do build according to Miami-Dade codes. And given, of course, where Cayman is located, we will be having buildings that are earthquake resistant because of the inherent nature of steel, the flexibility. Then one could argue that it would be able to be more flexible than concrete, which would crack.
Correct.
It is indeed much more flexible.
How environmentally friendly and non-combustible are these structures?
Very, very much so. It's totally recyclable. The waste is almost zero. It's about 1%, and you can just recycle. Totally environmentally friendly.
Right, and as I mentioned earlier about the adoption of the product or the method of build in Europe and other places, that is actually one of the reasons why it's been widely adopted. When you look at the fact that it has a very low carbon footprint, there are no chemical preservatives. As mentioned, it's less than 1% waste. So for us, it's little impact on our landfills, which is really an issue for us locally.
Correct.
And then the global use of steel is huge when it comes to disaster recovery efforts. So there are many, many benefits environmentally and otherwise to the use of cold-formed steel.
Now let's talk about cost effectiveness. Will this help customers save time and money on their building projects then?
Absolutely it will. There are many reasons. It's the speed of production is one. All parts are produced from the roll formers we have in the order they need to be assembled. They're inkjet marked and they're sheared, dimpled, drilled, punched and swaged to be able to fit together in a foolproof manner. And that process is carried out in-house to panelize each wall or each truss, so that it's all completely controlled and not subject to the weather. And then also speed of erection, that is huge because it's just much quicker. There is no wet work, and it will make a huge difference for contractors.
Yeah. Exponentially, it will reduce the fabrication time. And you think about that, you think about the components would be a faster production time because of the weight of steel as well. You'll require a smaller team in order to do your actual fabrication and erection. So as Des mentioned, faster construction time, no wet work. And so, of course, in construction, time is money, right? Course. And so the less time that you spend in building would be less cost. And as well, because of the weight, there would be little to no use of additional equipment in the use of the erection of the building.
So what are the steps involved in ordering products from your company? A construction company want to order. What is it
they
like?
they would just come by or email in their architectural and structural plans, and we'll do a quote from that for our stock of steel studs. We can do custom orders also, and a little time is required for that, but we will soon have a stock of steel stud.
How long does the process take to receive truss and steel structures?
We like to ask contractors to provide us at least 6 weeks for the design, production and delivery process.
What tolerance are allowed for metal plate connectors and wood trusses?
There is a built-in positional tolerance for plates. The wood plates can be positioned and they can be moved, rotated slightly, but that's all built in. There's no quality issues with the lumber. We reject any lumber that's not up to par. It's any splits, warps or cracks won't be used, but positionally it's built into the program.
Is there anything overall in general that you would like to drive home to persons listening to our show this evening about? Because we could talk a little bit about bracket less connections. But I'll give you an opportunity to, just because time is not permitting, what would you like to drive home to our listening audience this morning?
Okay, Sabrina, thank you. That we are a total manufacturing facility. That we can supply the entire interior and exterior of a building. We're progressive and expanding our product lines, and our software lends itself to mass production so that it can be so fast and so inexpensive.
And so, to the people listening, what I'd say is whether you're doing a new build, whether you're renovating, whether you're looking at creating an outdoor structure, or just dreaming of owning a little bit piece of paradise in the Caribbean, we are here to help you meet that need in significantly less time and less cost. And we're just fortunate to have the opportunity to utilize this groundbreaking technology to really optimize the way that we build, to create efficiencies, and just to change the landscape of modern build as we know it. And so, we're located at 63 Portland Road. If you'd like to see our manufacturing facility, you can pop in. You can see what we do. You can see our smart machines, as we call them, how they operate. Or you can just call us at 949-1922, and any of us would be more than happy to just show you what we're doing.
Yeah, we love to show off our facility.
Of course, why not?
What we can do.
Now, would you all be getting involved, let's say, with SciFac in the schools to share the knowledge and get children more excited and involved in this industry?
Now, you're talking about my language. I have served on the Junior Achievement Board for years, for over a decade. And one of my dreams and vision is to actually have a JA company that we would have, young achievers in there actually seeing what we do and realizing that, you're gifted in different ways.
Correct.
Some of us academically, some of us in a sports-like way, and others very hands-on. So it's actually my dream and passion to be able to do that later on.
Well, thank you so much for being our guest and allowing us to put the spotlight on Truss Plant Structures Limited. Anything individually you'd like to shout out to your team?
We are extremely busy at the moment, and I thank my team for the work they're doing. We're so busy, we're putting on another shift right now.
Excellent. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sabrina.
Thank you. Stay tuned for more of the Business Buzz. When we come back, it was a pleasure speaking with Des and Miss Brenda Lee from Truss Plant Structures Limited. Again, all success to you. Keep it locked right here to the Business Buzz for more. We'll put the spotlight on the RCIPS when we come back.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Pure and cleaner.
Now using the most popular and eco-friendly cleaning solvents. 4 convenient locations to serve you. Savannah Countryside, Elgin Avenue, Georgetown, Centennial Towers, West Bay, and Eastern Avenue, Georgetown. Drive through, rain or shine. Free pickup and delivery. Call Puritan Cleaners, 949-7104. You feel good when you look good.
This weekend,
Cayman Up Close, a weekly special feature from Radio Cayman News.
I'm Shanda Gallego.
Shanda Gallego goes behind the scenes with Cayman's newsmakers, artists, and emerging talent to get their unique and personal experience, their real story.
This week, we turn the spotlight.
Sundays at noon, 6:10 p.m. and 10:10 p.m. and always online at radiocayman.gov.ky. Tune in for Cayman Up Close.
Cayman Up Close, brought to you by Cayman National Bank, proudly serving the Cayman Islands for over 40 years.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
We are Radio Cayman, and this is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time. Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I'm gonna walk them golden stairs, 'cause I know my Jesus answers all my prayers.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, for the God of the mountain is still God in the valley.
Shout with joy to God, all the earth sing glory to His name. Praise time, praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Cayman's Business Buzz.
Welcome back to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. I'm your host, Sabrina Turner, and in this segment, our guests are representatives from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service regarding the important tips to prevent vehicle break-ins. I am pleased to have joining me in studio Mr. Mikhail Campbell, Media Relations Officer, and he's joined by PC Jonathan Kern from the Community Policing Department. Gentlemen, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Morning.
I don't mind having the police on here, but when you're talking about this in Cayman, this is unheard of, and we shouldn't really have to, but we can understand when we go away on vacation and, you know, you just take it for granted with how safe our island is, that, and we have other people with hidden agendas, that we have to actually be having this topic on this forum. But, you know, let's hope that, you know, getting this awareness out there and just getting some statistics to people, to let people know it's out there, it's real. And you're seeing all of the newspaper articles, and you're seeing on Facebook and all that, simple, casual swimming on the beach, and you're coming up and your personal belongings are taken.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be.
No, they shouldn't. I think one of the things, and it's why we're doing these sorts of things and doing these awareness, is because, like you said, it's unheard of, but it has been happening. And I think people need to realise that it is happening. And they need to just take some sensible precautions. Mm-hmm. You know, leaving your things lying on the beach.
Correct.
If there's someone that walks by and maybe they're a bit down on their luck at the moment, or maybe they make a career out of stealing things and they see that you're out swimming and your stuff's on the beach, it may well be taken.
Wow. What kind of statistics are we looking for when it comes to vehicle break-ins so far for this year compared to last year?
Well, I don't know the exact statistics right now.
An idea.
Right at the moment, we have had an increase, particularly over the summer holidays, of cars being broken into. We had a pretty large amount up in West Bay, not too long ago, where like 7 or 8 vehicles were broken into.
Yeah, so that was
yeah.
Overnight, I think last Monday, we had about 7 vehicles. For June, it was about 23 total, and I think as of last week, there were about almost 100 total for the year so far. So I don't have the numbers for last year, but it's still a large amount. Yeah,
it's just a sudden spike. What are some tips when parking vehicles, especially at night, would you like to share with our viewing and listening audience?
Yeah, I'd say one of the biggest things is that criminals don't like to act in the light. There are studies and things that have shown that actually lighting is a bigger deterrent to crime than cameras can be in places. So if you can park your vehicle somewhere where there's light, or leave an outside light on, that to me would be a good deterrent. And leaving things like the glove box open and empty. So if someone does look through the vehicle, they can see, hang on, there's actually nothing in the vehicle that's worth taking.
In your experience as police officers, are you noticing any patterns as to when car break-ins tend to occur? Is it the wee hours of the morning, or now they've gotten so brazen it's any time once there's an opportunity and they see a valuable in a car that, you know, they want to get?
I think most of the time we see them happening overnight. So in the overnight period, and people will come to their cars in the mornings and discover that they're broken into. So we won't have the exact time, but it's sometime, you know, when people tend to be asleep or away from their vehicle.
Yeah.
Typically, what are some items that car owners should not leave on their seats, dashboards, floor, or, you know, that a thief may find appealing?
Change, especially any sort of
Loose
money,
coins.
loose money and coins. They're untraceable. If we find someone that we think's broken into something and they've got change in their pocket, it could have come from anywhere. It could be their change. It could be anything. So change is something, and people unbelievably are willing to have a criminal record, possibly go to prison, all sorts of things for 50 cents in an ashtray.
Right.
So I wouldn't leave any cash at all on display.
Now, when these arrests are made, what is the feedback, you know, that you've gotten from the offenders as to why they're committing these crimes? What have you seen? What do you think?
I mean, my experience is that when I've arrested, the people I can think of that I've arrested having broken into cars when we've caught them in the act and brought them in, is that usually it goes with drugs as well.
Okay.
Particularly the smaller amounts. Smaller amounts like stealing change and things like that. If they go through and get 10 cars and get 50 cents out of each one of them, we've got $5 and there's some money towards drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think drugs is quite a good one for as a motivator. Drugs is the motivator for that. But also the opportunity, if you see an iPhone and you're I don't know, off school in the summer holidays,
mm-hmm.
that's a attractive sort of looking thing to take as well.
Is there an idea that age range of the persons that are committing these types of crimes? Is there like the school age children, like you rightfully say, it's summer, idle hands? It could even be visitors to our shores. What have you seen in some of the arrests and you know, made for these thefts?
Well, I think the most recent one that highlights the if you saw the arrest that was made at Smith Cove.
Smith Cove, yes.
With
I was
Bogey,
reading that.
that's was it a 15-year-old and two 17-year-olds?
Yeah.
I mean, that's worrying. That's worrying that you've got kids that are that young doing what is a serious crime. Perhaps they don't realise the severity of that crime
Mm-hmm.
when they do it. And that's something we need to reach out and say, hang on, this is a serious thing that you're thinking of doing even before they go out and do it.
What are the penalties for committing this type of crime as a break into cars theft? Should the punishment be a deterring factor, you think?
Well, it's hard to speak on specific penalties because for these types of crimes, a lot of it is determined by the court.
Okay.
So it'll depend on the circumstances of the crime, whether there was damage, the circumstances of the offender, those kind of factors. But we can say that regardless of the specific penalties you receive in terms of a fine or sentence, once you are convicted, it will have long-term effects.
Yeah, the criminal record's going to prevent you not prevent you, but it's going to make it harder for you to get a job. One of the things I find when we go into the schools and we talk to them is that kind of, when you've got a young mind, you're not necessarily thinking long-term. We'll say to them, we go, how many of you like going shopping in Miami?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I love going shopping in Miami. You know you can't travel if you've got a criminal record. You can't go do that. And then their faces drop and they're like, hang on, that's going to affect me right
Mm-hmm,
away.
mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be able to go do that thing that I like.
Right.
So that's another thing that you need to, the US, particularly at the moment, aren't going to be letting people in with criminal records.
Yeah. How early do you think we need to start hammering this home when some of these children are from surroundings that it's a norm? That's how we survive. I hate to hear the line, it's just survival. Mm-hmm. It's not just survival when it's not honest.
Yeah, I mean, for me...
Or the hustle. I'm on a hustle.
Yeah.
Really?
I think that, I don't sound cliched or anything here, but you need to be getting to children very, very early to let them know about these consequences and try and get them down the right path, because it's horrible to think about, but you've got these young, innocent children that are 5
Mhm.
years old now. If you're not getting them when they're 20 years old,
Correct.
then you've got that crime problem in 15 years' time.
Mhm.
You're actually thinking about solving a long-term problem by reducing it down, by just educating and getting them away from crime at a much earlier age.
You're in tune to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz, and in this segment, we're pleased to have representatives from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service regarding the important tips to prevent vehicle break-ins. We'll also be looking and speaking about some information about their smartphone enhancement that is expected to add to the already strong working relationship that the Community Policing Department has been building with the public. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more on that.
Hi, my name is Diane Manderson. My agent Teddy Clayton from Pan American Insurance was there for me from day one of my accident on October 2017. And up until now, I have been compensated for my pain and suffering. I would recommend Pan American Insurance. Contact agent Teddy Clayton on 917-4860.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Country classics.
Well, I was born to coal miner's daughter.
On the road again. They're gonna put me in the movies.
Papa Top again.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso.
Because you're mine, I walk the line.
Well, I love them in
Country classics.
young love, first love. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table.
If you enjoy classic country music, come hang out with Radio Cayman this Saturday, 3:30 to 6 p.m.
In the Mississippi cotton picking Delta town.
This Saturday afternoon, following American Country Countdown, 3:30 to 6 on Radio Cayman.
Just walk on by. Wait on the corner.
Country classics.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Cayman's Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. One of the most infuriating things that can happen to a car owner is to walk up to your car and see shattered glass all around where your window used to be. Having your personal belongings stolen out of your vehicle can make you feel violated and vulnerable. While there are no way to 100% deter these kinds of thieves, there are some common sense steps that we can all take to make our vehicle much less appealing and to be targeted. After all, thieves look for opportunities, and I'm pleased to have representatives from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service here today telling us and how to make sure we can keep safe and vigilant over the season, especially because we've noticed an increase in break-ins and thefts. But overall, and before you blink, the Christmas holidays are here. So again, so it's one thing right after the other. Mr. Mikhail Campbell, Media Relations Officer, and PC Jonathan Kern from Community Policing Department is with me in studio telling us more. But I think we want to just go into the phone enhancement for Community Policing Department. That's exciting. And tell us about the donation of 22 smartphones from Cayman Crime Stoppers and how these phone enhancements will aid officers to deliver the service to the community by, being on the beat.
Well, I can say, first of all, we want to give a huge thank you out to Crime Stoppers, our partners. We work very closely with them. For those who don't know, Crime Stoppers is a platform to submit anonymous tips on any kind of crime. So we worked closely with them, especially even last month when we did the firearms amnesty. And so we've talked to them about how our community policing program and how we want our officers to have this capability to be able to communicate in real time and using the platforms that people use every day to communicate with the community. So they got together and basically said, hey, we're going to provide these phones for you. We want to help out. And that's just an example of how our partnership works. We both have the same goal of reducing crime and the fear of crime. So we're grateful to them for that.
And it's great that our community beat officers are actually in the loop. Being from the Red Bay Prospect Community Group, our beat officer, PC Donaldson, was left out of the loop, and many times we had to share his personal phone. We as a group got together with the help of Councillor Harris and their premier, and we donated. But, Crime Stoppers kind of beat us because we didn't want to make it look as though we were only dealing with our own beat officer. But I'm so happy and grateful that now every beat officer working in the community can get a smartphone to be in the loop, because we understand the importance of these WhatsApp group chats and always having connectivity to your beat officer pretty much in real time. How do you feel that the beat officers are embracing this new technology?
I mean, it's one of the things that we try and set up as soon as we go into a community. I mean, I couldn't put a number on it, but it's going to be a high percentage of people that have got WhatsApp. They've got a smartphone. And they don't, particularly a lot of these things where it's not a 911 call. We're never saying to anybody and make that click, because it has happened a couple of times where someone sent me a message or an email. I'm like, and I've been on days off or I've been on vacation or something. And I'm like, this should have been a 911 call. It shouldn't have been an email to me or anything like that. So we want to make sure that if it's a crime going on or something like that, you're always still calling 911. And if it's a crime like a burglary that's just happened, you still want to call the station, Georgetown Station. Let's say your car was just broken into the following morning. Call up the station, right? My car was broken into last night, and report it that way. But then at the same, just as you finish that phone call, send a message to your community officer.
Right.
They'll come round as soon as they're available to do so. It's also about getting to the feel of what's going on, the vibe of what's going on in the community. You get to know people when someone walks through the area or is in the area, lawfully or unlawfully, or whatever intention they have. You send it on to your officer. They say, there's just this person walking around that's doing this. I don't recognise him from the area. He's riding a bike real slow, looking in houses.
Correct.
Could be something that you send on to your community officer. And we make the inquiries and find out who it is, and then go and find out what they were doing in the area.
Now, will these numbers be accessible? Will they be published to the neighbourhoods, to communities?
Yes. So the numbers.
How will that work?
The numbers will be accessible, hopefully by us going and introducing ourselves and giving out the cut, and obviously getting them that way.
It always makes a difference. Trust me.
Yeah, absolutely. And but also they'll be on the website as well when they.
Yeah, so on our website, there is a page where you can go to actually, even if you're not sure what beat you fall into, there's a list of all the beats. It's attached to Google Maps, so when you click on a beat, you can see that exact boundaries of where it falls into. And then on those pages, there's a list of all the officers who work for that beat and their phone numbers and email addresses. So you can access that information anytime you'd like once you have internet access.
Yeah. Now go ahead.
Yeah, so it's not just WhatsApp groups. If you want to create a community Facebook group, because that's what works for your community.
Right. Use
a Facebook group. Use a Twitter account. Use something, whatever works for you. An email group. Some people don't like WhatsApp. They don't like the notifications all the time. And that's obviously something else that we need to to sort of marshal.
I want to go into etiquette again, being one of the key persons in Prospect community. That is pretty much a job. Making sure you manage the purpose of a community WhatsApp, because you'll have our community over 3,000 people, and what I may feel is an inspiring picture or a quote of the day is not necessarily the basis of why that group chat was created. Fuzzy cats and puppies and all that sort of stuff. What etiquette would you expect of people, persons, guidance that you would share this morning as how this will be used?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Do's and don'ts.
And if the way we've worked in some, I mean, I've got several of these groups worked out, and they work differently for what works for that community. But some of them are just an alerts group, so an alarm's going off. A house alarm or something like that.
Correct.
They'll send it out and say number 23 of whichever road, house alarm's going off. that's it. And there's no need to reply to that either with received, noted, thanks, or whatever else. And you get with 10 messages that say thanks. And then people miss that the alarm's gone off, or they miss the important information and things. So you kind of accept when the group is set up that it's any message is received with thanks if it's for the benefit of the community.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to sound harsh, and you want to encourage participation. But even something like the thank you is when people are reading that going, I can't be doing with this. And they just leave the group.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't want. We want more people involved.
Correct.
Getting the more relevant information.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got some that are just alerts and some that I just send out crime prevention advice or just be aware this is happening in the area. But then I also have some that run parallel where we have a discussion group as well. So if people want to be a part of something that wouldn't be as relevant to some people, then they can be part of the discussion. Hey, this is going on tonight. We've got a fish fry going on, or we've got this going on, and that can go on there. And that's fine,
Mm-hmm.
and people can leave that or join it as they wish. But we want the contact with the community officer is the real basis for them. Yeah.
Okay. Will you be doing more outreach programs in regards to teaching etiquette about using these WhatsApp group chats and other social media platforms with the police, community policing?
Well, I think it'll be more a case for the individual beat officers and the individual communities to kind of work together to figure out what works for them, because another group that might be maybe a smaller community group, they might have no problem with having the alerts and having a bit more social discussion in the same chat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of we can't really prescribe one kind of etiquette. We'll give the officers guidelines and say they need to be clear on what they want to do, but it's kind of up to them to figure out with their community.
Yeah, we'd want perhaps when the groups are set up, this is a list of rules that go out. Just please bear in mind, these are things, and just work them out with the admins of the group or the coordinators to figure out this is what works for our group and this is what we're going to go with.
Correct. No one likes the firm hand. No one. You're not the best liked person. Trust me. Been in that seat too long. But no, it's respected because a forum such as ours, and sometimes you give it a little rope because it's the way of the older persons in the community getting involved as well. There's a bit of respect that comes with it, but sometimes you got to shut it down because it just takes away from the purpose of the group. What are some helpful suggestions would you extend to those listening as it relates to personal and home safety measures against burglaries?
Well, go ahead. Yeah, I think it's funny because it's kind of a lot of the similar tips, I guess, to what you would use for your vehicle, securing your vehicle, theft in general. So basically you want to, it's about preemptive stuff. So you want to make sure that your home is well lit, especially outside. So that you can see what's happening outside and that anyone that is in your yard can be easily seen either by you inside or by people on the street. You also want to make sure that your locks are secure, so make sure your doors are properly carpentered, because it's sometimes you get doors where the locks are put on, but there's certain ways that people can get in if they know these tricks. So you kind of have to make sure that your doors aren't vulnerable to these kind of things. And then also, in an event that someone does happen to get inside, you do want to kind of have an extra layer of security by having your really valuable things not kind of just everywhere, but if you can kind of keep them secure, like within a room within the house.
Correct.
That will kind of delay any thieves from getting to them and kind of keep them more safe.
I'd say one of the other things is marking your property. If jewellery, especially jewellery, like we were saying with coins, it's difficult to establish afterwards. But if you've got photographs of it, particularly if they've got distinguishing features, take down photographs and upload them to a cloud in case your phone's taken as well. But get the photographs of your property, note down the serial numbers, and mark the property. If we start recovering these things and we link them to people, we can get the burglars in prison and get them off the streets away from seeing these things.
And it also narrows down the area.
Yes.
Where the property could have been taken as well. Now, going back, any closing words and tips you'd like to leave as it pertains to vehicle break-ins and thefts?
I can just say that everything we're talking about here kind of feeds into that. So having the mobile phone capability of our officers makes it easier for them to have more effective neighborhood watch groups. And one of the tips that we've given to people in the past is to kind of look into starting neighborhood watch groups in their communities, so you have that extra set of eyes and you can share information with each other so you can know if something suspicious is going on. It's more of a deterrent for people in that area to avoid committing crimes. And And I think that goes along with everything we're trying to do, and it's a big way of crime prevention in terms of all crimes, not just vehicle thefts or burglaries, but everything else.
Yeah. Eyes and ears of the community are
Excellent.
very, very helpful to us.
Well, thank you both for sharing with us. It has been a pleasure and giving us an opportunity to assist you in getting the words out on safety. And again, kudos to you and all that you do, and all the best in your endeavors.
I just want to say I didn't mention the actual address for the website, so it's rcips.ky, www.rcips.ky. And we're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can just search for RCIPS and you should find us that way.
There you go. It's been very informative show about preventative measures that we can all take to prevent vehicle break-ins, even in your homes, and keeping safe. Join us again on Thursday for another Business Buzz. It has been a pleasure. Have a safe and fabulous Tuesday.
Business Buzz.
Business Buzz.
The Business Buzz, proudly sponsored by Teddy Clayton of Pan American Insurance, each and every Tuesday and Thursday on Radio Cayman. Call Teddy today at 917-4860.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories.